Okay, so this right here is going to be our rollout routine series. This is going to be part one. I doubt we'll actually have a true part two. I think we'll have more like a bonus in the sense of an extra type of work for that. And the reason why I say that's because I've been studying this now for quite some time. Unless they have new research at the end of 2026, going on to forever years to come, we'll more than likely only just have this basic part one routine series. Okay. You're going to need your shoes off for most of this standpoint, especially with the Dorsey and plantar flexion today. Things you're going to need: lacrosse ball. A baseball is also fine too. Lacrosse ball, a foam roller, uh, two baseballs, preferably duct taped up, or you can buy what we call this little thing. It's called a peanut. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. I won't be able to show you it today, in particular how it works, but I can kind of tell you how it works. Okay. And then we're going to need basically a firm med ball like this. If you have a softball, you can also use a softball too as well. Not for the med ball replacement, but maybe perhaps like a lacrosse ball replacement or baseball replacement if you don't have either of those. I prefer lacrosse ball. It's a little bit more small in point, kind of get to more of those trigger points that we need. But all that being said, let's kind of jump into it today. Okay, guys? So we're going to work from bottom to top the best we can possible. I'm going to try to explain everything. If you're curious, each one of these things, when we're rolling out, we need at least 15 passes, but no more than 30 passes. If you're curious what a pass is, it's boom to boom. That is one pass. So we need 15 passes to 30 passes. You can do too little and you can also do too much. Okay, so we want to make sure we're not going and doing too much. If something is painful, don't do it, or very lightly do it. Okay, we're not trying to make every little exercise we roll out here today painful. It will be tender, but what I mean pain, I mean like sharp. Feels like someone's stabbing you. It feels like it's like if I do this, I'm gonna cry. We don't want that, guys. If you're having those issues, you may want to go see a doctor, or give it rest. Maybe take some Tylenol if needed. I'm not a doctor. I'm not recommending these things in general per se, but this is something that I used to do for that. Now, in regards to everything else right here we're doing today is reach back base. Okay. So all that being said, let's jump into it. So lacrosse ball first. All right. Working our way bottom up. We are going to want to go put this on the very bottom of our foot here. We're going to want to roll back and forth. If you find some spot that's a little tender, like for me, it's like right here. I want to kind of stay in this area and kind of just roll around into it a little bit. Okay, guys? We're going to do the same thing on both sides with a lacrosse ball. Okay. Once we get done doing that, even though this one is really more of a static stretching one, we can kind of still do a little bit of a rollout with it as well. Come in here just like this and kind of rolling out like this. This is kind of a static, but also rolling as well. Okay, we can also do this with our foot here with the foam roller. In regards to also some more plantar and dorsiflexion stuff, taking this ball here, going and rubbing around the ankle. Okay, if you're someone who's played football or soccer or basketball, or if you're like me who has rolled and sprained ankles many, many times, you probably have some scar tissue build up. Okay, even though you may not get all of it out, the goal here is to help loosen that area up if you do got that. And even if you don't got that, we have small little muscles in this area around the ankle bones here, in our foot. They'll help loosen it up. We can also come here across the top right here, right? Also want to go and turn it on this side too as well. And remember, we want to sit there and do these 15 to 30 passes, okay? I'm trying to show this in a sped up version. That way you're not sitting here watching me do this all day long, okay? You can also come here on the top and the top here, okay? That's everything with lacrosse ball. And then you saw a little bit of foam roller. Next, calves. We're going to roll it out just like this. What I would do is this. I would go probably 15 passes to where we're pulling our foot down, and then 15 passes where we're pulling our foot up. Okay, so foot down for plantar, foot up for Dorsey. Okay, same thing with this side. Okay, you want to, you can grab a lacrosse ball as well and find points in your calf where it's kind of hard and it's kind of a little tender. Okay, however, though, we have the Achilles down here. Do not get near the Achilles. So I would sit there and say where your calf muscle kind of stops at, here up is fine with a lacrosse ball. Okay, we don't want to roll out tendons. We don't want to try to roll out ligaments, even though they're much harder to roll out, because that's not the goal here for today. It's muscle tissue fascia work. Okay. Once we get done doing that, we're then going to go put this on the front side here. We're trying to go and roll out this tibia here, this tibial muscle, okay? If you have shin splints, it's going to hurt a little bit, okay? But also if you have shin splints, this can help fix it just a little bit. We're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to show you like this, and we can see it from this side. 15 passes. You'll notice if I'm trying to do plantar flexion, I'm doing it this way, dorsiflexion this way. So same thing, 15 passes like this, right? Rolling into that. And then once you do that, flip it this way, and the same exact thing, okay? So we're going to do that for both legs, right? Once you get done doing that, okay, you can also use the lacrosse ball too as well. It's going to be much tougher though, I will say, getting here. But you can though. For me personally, as someone who's had shin splints, this helped a lot get rid of it. Taking this lacrosse ball and really getting into it is going to be a lot more trigger point releasing than a foam roller will. Okay, so basically everything that we do with the foam roller, you can probably do it with the lacrosse ball. Okay, now before we get into moving up the kinetic chain up to our quads and hamstrings, all up to our hips and whatnot, let me talk about this little thing right here. 2 baseballs, or we call it a peanut. You can find it online. Okay, you're going to really duct tape these things up together, and I kid you not, we're going to place it on line of our spine here just like this. We're going to be on the ground, and we're going to roll up and down the spinal erector muscles, okay? I do not have a peanut with me. My peanut's in Mississippi. I need to go buy another peanut. So I'm showing you how you can do this. Duct tape 2 baseballs and do it, or go buy one online, okay? It's not exactly called a peanut. That's what I call it, but it literally looks just like a peanut, okay? All right, now that this is out of the way and explained too as well, let's talk about the rest of the kinetic chain. All right, moving up to the quads here, okay? We're going to talk about the quads, and then we're going to talk about all the way up here to the hip flexor area, okay? So quads, you've probably rolled out your quads before, right? You're going to sit here, right? 15 passes, just like this here, rolling all the way into it here, just like this. Boom. You can also go and do the abductor muscle, which is taking it just like this here, just like this, rolling all the way. And then you can even go and roll on the outside here, okay? You can also do this with a lacrosse ball and then rolling it on your side, just like this here, all the way up here, okay? So I wanted to show you that for everything for your quads. For your hamstrings, same thing. Taking this thing here, rolling on the hamstring, turning it inwards a little bit, rolling the inside of here, rolling on the inside of here. Every little spot that you keep seeing me move, it's 15 to 30 passes. It will take a long time, but if you want to get better, it starts with this, okay? All right, now, this is the most tricky part here. When we're talking about all up in here, okay, your ER and IR movements, okay? Your quads can be good, your hamstrings can be good, but it doesn't mean your hips are going to be good. These do help with opening up the hips, but you have to work on the hips in general, okay? So you can take a foam roller here and roll in this hip flexor and kind of sit into it lightly. You can also do the same thing here. Now, I will let you know, it's going to be super, super tender for 99% of you, so be gentle with it. You'll take this lacrosse ball. You're going to come right here in this area. You're going to be laying on the ground, okay? Just like this here. And you're going to find a spot. And like, see, like for me, I already found mine. Oof. And you're going to be, like I said, you're going to be very gentle with it, okay? Just nice and easy into it. You can even go and do your quads too as well in this position. Slowly turn yourself as you roll it. For this right here, you can honestly, you're better off kind of sitting into it and kind of just kind of moving in some circles here and then going all the way around. See, like, and right now I can feel this other spot here on the external part of my hip. Yep. So just make sure I'm really gentle with it because a lot of you are going to be very tender. Even someone like me who's been doing this for a while, sometimes it can be very tender. Now, whenever I was doing it back when I played baseball and I got really good at it, it wasn't tender, which is the goal, okay? But this is going to allow you to get here, hold this position here, and rotate these hips through without them getting stuck, okay? So, lacrosse ball, all the way around here, even working all the way back here. And like I said, you can do either small little circle rolls with these. You can do passes with those, just be gentle with it. Okay? All right. So all that being said, that should cover majority of the lower portion. Okay? Right? So we want to take the foam roller, roll everything out. Come back to the lacrosse ball. Okay, now we're going to talk about the upper thoracic and whatnot. Okay? So the biggest thing here that I see is the ability to basically take the spine and come here like this. Okay? A lot of it's because your core muscles are tight, your upper thoracic's tight, your spot, like everything is tight back here. You can't do this motion. You can't throw hard. Okay. So you can take this foam roller here, right, and roll in your core. Okay. But just be gentle because you have organs there. Okay. So this is more like a gentle kind of roll. Extend your arms out just a little bit in front of you here and try to be a little gentle. Work your way up and come back down. Okay. You'll do it for 15 passes. You want to get your chest. Same thing here. Just like this here. Boom. Same thing, 15 passes, rolling all the way up to these upper chest fibers down to the lower chest fibers. Now, you're probably wondering, we've been using the lacrosse ball for every little muscle. Are we going to use it for this? The answer is yes and no. We're going to use it for our pecs. We're not going to use it for our core, okay? We have little organs in there, guys. We do not want to sit there and roll into those soft little organs and damage organs, okay? So be gentle with the foam roller, and I wouldn't recommend using this. Now, you're probably wondering when this ball is going to come into play, and here's how it's going to come into play, okay? We need something much bigger, right, that doesn't go and pinpoint an area like the lacrosse ball. So this is where you can honestly go and also, instead of using the foam roller, you can take this thing right here, and you can honestly go and roll out this little side area, this small oblique area. Kind of rolling into the side here, and kind of letting yourself kind of crunch, just like this here, and coming back, okay? Now, like I said, still be gentle with it, but you can do that right there. You can also roll back and forth like this, and you can do that for both sides, okay? Now, you're probably wondering, I forgot to mention this, with the lacrosse ball, you can get the pec. We want to make sure we're a little more gentle up here where we have this little connection point. We don't want to go and kind of press into that too hard, so just kind of be gentle with that. But anywhere actually in the pec in itself should be fine, okay? All right, now, in regards to the backside, we've covered almost the entire front. We're going to talk about the biceps, forearms here, and the triceps here in a little bit. But in regards to the entire front, big part of the side, that should cover everything. In regards to the backside, okay, we want to take this right here for our spine. We're also going to need this, the little peanut, you got it. Also going to need this. Also going to need this. You're going to need all these things for the backside of your body. So what I like doing is I like going from foam roller for this to medicine ball here, then to the peanut, then to the lacrosse ball. We're going from basically largest to smallest for surface area since we're going and covering the spine. Now, I will tell you right now, if you don't have your shirt tucked in, which I don't, your shirt's probably going to pull. But what I always tell guys is we want to try to start on the back side of this head, which I'm going to scoot this forward here for y'all. Okay? Starting up here like this, you've probably done this 1,000 times. Just like this here. And you can work your arms like this. See how my shirt's already getting pulled? Should have tucked it in. Or you can just leave your arms up here the entire time or down here. Regardless, though, just doing some passes with it. Now, with this medicine ball here, what I like about this is you can work your way slowly down. So instead of doing what I just did with the foam roller, right, we can come here like this and work on twisting and turning, right, or picking up and putting down and getting some of those sticky areas. Just kind of moving these arms here like this, moving them up, moving them back, just like that. And then we can move a little bit further down the spine. Same thing here, and just getting this. You can also lean into it, kind of play around with this. You can kind of go and do what you feel is best for you in that sense. Now, back to the peanut, right? For the peanut, starting with lower spine, working our way down. A lot of guys don't ever roll out their spinal rectory muscles at all. They think the foam roller gets it. But the thing is the way your spine is built, when you roll that foam roller, it's going to want to pinch back. So you actually don't end up getting your spinal erectors to the maximum intent, which is why we use this to go and roll up and down the spine, because it's going to target this as we roll up, and as we roll down, we want to start from here, go all the way down to the lower spine. Okay. Now let's lacrosse ball here. Okay. Not gonna lie, it can get pretty bad, especially for somebody who never uses a lacrosse ball. Lacrosse ball, you just work it all the way around your body. The biggest part I see a lot of guys is their scap. So basically, you see how this little wing back here kind of pokes out? Let me pull my shirt a little bit, okay? Underneath that and around that is the biggest thing I see with guys. You can't get any true horizontal abduction if that's tight, but also if your delt's tight. And we're going to talk about rolling that out here in a second too. So grabbing that lacrosse ball, laying on the ground, rolling out all in this area, upper traps. Goodness, I see it all the time. A lot of guys struggle with that. Matter of fact, you can legit grab a lacrosse ball here, kind of mash it into the wall, getting up here in this upper area. And this will help with your neck as well from not being as tight. Okay, so now let's talk about some other things. Okay, we talked about the back part of the spine. Now let's kind of move into the shoulder area. Okay, now you have these rotator cuff muscles that work on this backside here, but you also got the connectors that wrap around the shoulder. Okay, a lot of guys are tender here. Okay, it's okay to be a little tender there. It's kind of typical if you're a pitcher or anyone who throws, but we would still want to use the lacrosse ball, or you can use the foam roller first if you're really tender, but you want to be kind of gentle with it. But the way it works is this, guys. Okay, so we're going to take our arm here, just like this here, and we're going to let it kind of feed over this little spot where our armpit's kind of in this. We're going to roll back and forth. Now, for someone like me, right, it doesn't bother me at all because I've been rolling out for years and years to come. But somebody like you, right, if I take this lacrosse ball here especially, it's going to really be really tender for a lot of y'all. But if you can just get here in this and kind of just roll back and forth into that spot just a little bit, that's a good way to loosen that up. And like I said, use that lacrosse ball to your advantage. Okay, if you're also sore in the front part of your shoulder, like I said, we want to be careful not getting too far into here. It's okay to get on the side. If you're getting tenderness and soreness here, I would recommend probably like a finger massage for yourself. I wouldn't really recommend something like this. You can maybe do a foam roller, but just be careful with it, okay? Let's see what else we got here. We can talk about biceps and forearms and triceps, but I feel like we can kind of cover that a little bit later on. What else am I forgetting for y'all that's really, 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 really important here? I think that's really about all that can cover it as far as I can think off the top of my head. That's really about it, guys. Now, in regards to forearm, bicep, and tricep, and we're also going to talk about the lats here in a second too. They're going to be special last release for a reason. Okay, tricep, take your elbow here, bend it here just like this, and just come in here and roll it like this. If you have bicep pain, turn it here like this, roll it like that. If you have forearm pain, same thing here, or same thing here, doing those 15, 30 passes. You can also use the lacrosse ball as well. You can also go and do them, both your triceps at the same time. It's going to be much, much harder though, but here like this, rolling our way out like this. But like I said, I really recommend single because it's much, much harder. And then with the forearm here, honestly, I recommend a barbell smash. That's another thing I'm going to talk about here in a second before we get done with these lats here. But with the forearms, right, we can take this lacrosse ball here. A lot of guys get sore here and here. Now, if you're getting sore here, go see a doctor. There's more than likely might be UCL. But if you have the pronator, right, it's okay to get sore in here a little bit. Obviously, we prefer no soreness. This is fine. This is not. This is fine. This is not. All this is okay to an extent. Obviously, the less sore we can have after throwing, the better. That means we're doing things correctly. Okay, we can take this lacrosse ball here, roll it out all the way around through. Do both arms. The last thing is the lats and the serratus anterior and the obliques. So we kind of briefly talked about the obliques, but this is really important. I see so many guys that come in with basically very little layback, and what's I'm not saying that layback creates velocity. It's been shown in some studies that it does, some show that it kind of doesn't, as of the most recent studies. But regardless, though, not having uh, loose lats, serratus anterior, and obliques doesn't actually allow you to generate any velocity to crunch side to side, or actually go and abduct back, or actually help you with accelerating, because your serratus anterior helps with acceleration instead of your lats in a sense, and they also help with decel. Okay, so if we have bad decel, bad accel muscles that are tight, we can't generate velocity and we can't slow down velocity. Okay, so with this right here in particular, okay, we're going to take this here. We have two different things. We have rib cage smashing, and then we also have lat smashes. Okay, with this right here, we're going to take this into a rib cage with the foam roller and just roll back and forth. We get higher up, we get into the lat area. Okay, now for your serratus anterior, a lot of people think when you're rolling out this, you're getting your serratus anterior, but you're really not. For the serratus anterior, what I would recommend, and by the way, we're doing both sides 15, 30 passes. Take this lacrosse ball here. Okay, it's going to be right in here. You look at your pec muscle. You move, you go about an inch or two to the left of the peak of where it curves, and basically right below your armpit area, your serratus anterior is. Okay, taking it here, lying flat. It's going to be tender more than likely. Yep, mine is. And just be very gentle rolling all the way back and forth. And you can roll side to side here. And like I said, a lot of people don't ever get it. So like for me, I'm pretty tender there. Okay. Once we get done doing that, that is going to be wrapping up everything for part one. Now, I do want to talk about this. I don't have a barbell here today, but if you have a barbell, you can also do what we call barbell smashes. Now, you got to be gentle with these things, because if you're taking the barbell and you're putting it on muscles, it's not the same as like a foam roller, right? Because this foam roller is kind of got a little cushion to it. Imagine like a heavy lacrosse ball in that area, okay? The only things I'd really recommend for that is maybe some quad muscles. If you got something to do for your hamstrings, or maybe the back of your calf. But like I said, we don't want to go too high up in here. We don't want to go below here. Okay, we're getting to that Achilles area. You can do your forearms as well, rolling it on top and here. You can also do it on bicep, but with bicep, don't go into this anterocubital area in here, and we don't want to go up in here either. So where you see this curvature at, we want to basically be just from here to here for this bicep. And then if you got someone for tricep, that's great, but a lot of people don't have partners, okay? So you can also do that with a barbell. Now, you're not doing it with necessarily the full barbell. You may just do it with the barbell head, like the very end that holds the weights. But those are some things you can do there, okay? That should wrap up everything for part one. Like I said, we'll have a bonus series the more research that I do. But in the meantime, y'all do this, enjoy it. It should take a lot of time. If you do the static stretching, which has already been posted, plus this, I would say every day is great if you can do it. But if you can just do it just a few times a week, you'll see exponential amount of growth. If you have any questions, put it down in the comment section down below, and I'll see you another time.